Hello and welcome each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach therapist from DCTcentre, and joining me again is lovely Morganne Rayne, Adept, visionary, spiritual guide, ceremonialist, and artist, and much more. I could probably half day sit here and tell you who she is, and then I don't know her 100%. So
Yeah,
it's
we
like
know we can't really ever know a being, right?
exactly, and especially being like you. I think I don't know how many hours I can be with you, but I still won't discover absolutely everything what you can do and all your powers and so on.
Well, I call myself the ancient of days, right? I've been here many times. I'm very ancient in my knowledge and my wisdom. But I think there are a lot of us here like that. I think you're one of them. Um, we carry this remembering within us. It's not easy to carry it. I will tell you, being on the planet, right? Being who I am hasn't always been a really safe, if you know what I mean, a safe way of being, because I made people very uncomfortable when I would speak the truth. So, I've gotten used to that. And I've had to learn that I just speak the truth anyway, right? I'm not here for people's comfort. I'm here for people's transformations and revealing who they are and assisting them in letting go what doesn't belong to them. So you just got to be brave and go, right? And I bet there's a bunch of them listening out there in the audience that are like who I am, that they know who they are, and they move forward in their world, and the world does not reflect back to them kindness or love around that. So, but we're not out after the world's kindness and love. we're here on a mission. So,
Yeah, exactly. I think we all need really try at least now to say the truth, to tell the mind right uh, true what is in us, to say what we think.
yep.
Because I've been all my life um, listening to others, studying something on the sidelines, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
listening to others, and really one of the quiet ones, because I never know what to say, because what I think is completely different what all crowds where I am in is thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I get there too. I call that witnessing, right?
Yeah.
We're witnessing how people are, what's going on. And you can feel it. You witness through your feeling nature, from your knowing nature, and you can listen to what the conversations that you're having around it. Like, what's the ego with this one, or are you in a situation where you hear and experience something that is incorrect? Do you go ahead and access Holy Spirit and bring love and light down to the situation? And that's kind of how I do that thing, right? Just I'm when I was little, I got those marching orders, right? It's like I've been following them ever since I got them, and it's everyone. The goal is everyone ascends, and and a lot of people will go, well, these people are really awful. These people are really bad. It's like they're all still the creators.
But also these people maybe are very bad in this lifetime, but maybe they've been good in other one or something.
Exactly. Remember last week I read that poem I had written, right? We've all been all those things, right? And when we can come to that place of forgiving all of it, right? Forgiving it all. We've all been, we've had every experience, especially when you've been around for a long time. I remember somebody did a reading for me like years ago, and he was like some galactic card reader or something, which was really cool. And he goes, "You've had just about every kind of experience anyone can have here, right?" So which he goes, "You're just very ancient in that way to gather in all these experiences." So when we bump up against something that feels or looks or seems incorrect, how do we deal with that? Do we get angry? Do we get bitter? Do we just get depressed? There's a lot of things we can choose to do. But for me, it's okay, I'm going to call in the Holy Spirit right now to cleanse, clear, and purify this. And so this is how I choose to do that. But it's like we're in that revealing stage, like things are being revealed, lies are being revealed, hidden things are being revealed. And when we realize that we've been snookered as humanity, well, you can get really ticked off or angry or whatever, or you can just begin to call it, know why you're here, right? I'm here to reveal truth. I'm here to reveal love. I'm you got to step back into why you're here. And for me, those are the reasons why I'm here, and I know that.
I actually take your advice on. Remember, you've been telling in my last session that I, at the moment, dumbing down to reach 3D person, yeah, in my life. And I've been taking this advice, and I actually step up and saying what I'm thinking. And to be honest, I get surprised. That person who is with me at the moment, yeah, she listens. She does listen when I'm telling about stories, what I know about bad and good, and what everything what's happening in Ukraine and Israel and everything is not only 3D world one liner. It's definitely very, very many layers there, yeah?
Yes.
Why that is happening, what is happening.
Yes.
Yeah. Only, this one person is trying to get back those lands there. I said, it's nothing to do with them or them. It's about 13 richest families, which one pay for everything and play their game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
At the moment, those games is played in 5D chess game, where it's actually happening, but it's not happening.
Right?
But that's how it is, because everything at the moment is playing like movie out for those who still asleep.
Yep. And and our job's to wake people up, right? And how we wake them up is little by little. And that's why we can't dumb ourselves down to meet other people. We must keep our frequencies up and help lift them up to that, right? If we try to dumb down to it and move into that mediocrity, what did we just do? Just moved into mediocrity, right? And so it's when we are in situations like that with with family, loved ones, lovers, whatever. It's our job to continue to keep our frequency really high so people can move up to where we are and be at that frequency. We give them what was that Marianne Williamson's statement about we are, let me see if I can I might have to pull it up and read it. I haven't quoted it in a long time, but basically we must keep our frequencies high, because then when we do that, we give others permission. We give others the frequency. It's not just permission. We're kind of like the tuning fork, right? So if you do a tuning fork, everything around it can come into frequency with that and sing at that level, right? So if we come in all down and bummed and trying to enroll people in our problems, and commiseration is really popular in our world, right? Come grieve with me, come be mad with me, come worry with me. That's hitting the tuning fork at that level. But when we say, come love with me, come laugh with me, come be in joy and bliss with me, and we hit that tuning fork, it may take them we get disoriented when we have to shift and change, but at the end of the day, everybody wants to feel joy and happiness and goodness and holiness. We do. I mean, it's I've worked with people for a long time, over 30 years, and people don't want to be depressed. They don't want to be angry. They don't. But they get stuck in it, right? They get stuck in it when we help them realize, how they got stuck and that they can change it. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah. So at the moment, starting new year, it's a year of dragons.
Yeah.
And on the beginning, little bit before we start recording, we talk about dragons, and
we did.
My belief of dragons is that they are not a very nice creatures. But I know that I need to work on my beliefs and change it, because I know that it is much more about dragons than I know about.
Right. It's much like a lot of things where, we're taught, scary stories, right? And, little kids begin to believe that. We're taught many things that aren't true, that keep us scared. And I believe that the dragon is one of those such, they put it in the category of mythical creature. I think I'm a mythical creature.
I think you definitely are.
So, so I was born in the year of the water dragon, so I got to celebrate my water dragon return in 2012. Which was very powerful. That was one of the most powerful years we have in terms of like the Mayan calendar. It's the end of an age. It's not the end of the world. Well, in some ways, it is the end of the world as we knew it, but it's the end of an age. And so that year I got to celebrate my water dragon return energy and really move into, well, at that time I was doing a lot of ceremony and bringing awareness to what was going on in the planet. I'd been doing that all along, but that 2012 year was a very powerful time. And one of the things that I got to do during that year is I went to Chichen Itza down in the Yucatan Peninsula to be in the energy of the pyramids there. And those pyramids, much like the Egyptian pyramids, hold a lot of sacred energy. And that water dragon energy of me just became really dominant and powerful. So what do I mean by that? I began to really step into my sovereignty. I began to look at what does that mean, right? It's like, you know, when I was a little kid, I elevated myself, even in the midst of where I was. People just didn't do that, but I elevated myself, and I walk different, talk different, see different, all of that. And it was like this elevation. And that's correct, in that you elevate yourself above what's going on. Well, there's a sovereignty in that. And that word has come back to me again and again this past week. And the dragon represents sovereignty. That's what it is. It rules over. It has dominion over it. And so what does it have dominion over, right? What do we have dominion over? We really only have dominion over ourselves and our ego. And the dragon is actually the ego's nightmare, because it brings that truth of sovereignty and goodness and that higher elevation. I'll read something in a little while about that, which really struck me, that a woman that you and I kind of follow her channel, her name's Aurora, wrote about this year, which is really cool. But I want to go back to, I was with I have a group of, we call ourselves spirit sisters for a better word. And we were doing clearing and intention setting for 2024, that we were doing this last week. So as we were doing where we went, the lady, for her birthday, her husband gave her singing bowls for all the chakras. So we were using those to clear chakras. And when I was clearing the lower chakras, I'm asking what is to be released. What do I let go of? What's not in alignment with me moving into this 2024 energy? And I heard, you totally must let go of control, which, so there's that. So I was experiencing what that would feel like if I totally let go of control. So I accessed control energy in my body and in my head, what thoughts I had about control. And I just invited myself to experience what it would feel like to let that go and just not be in control. What would that feel like? And for some people, and for me too, it was feeling like, oh my God, I'm just going to be out there floating around and, no anchor point. But what happened was, as I was letting that go and having that experience, I heard these words so plain, so loud, that I even spoke them out loud in the group, which we were in meditation, so, it wasn't appropriate, but it came out anyway. And it was, be your sovereign self. And you cannot be your sovereign self if you are controlling. That had to empty out of me. Be your sovereign self. So that's great. I wrote that down, and but that word just keeps in me, sovereign. I know that word. I know that experience. Like, I totally know the word. It's like we talk about our sovereign self, but it was like it took it to a deeper level at that time. And then a friend of mine that's in the group for my birthday last year gave me a deck of cards. And I think you and I've played with these before. And I'll hold up the book. Did you and I play with them?
Yes, we play in my session.
Yeah. So I had brought them with me, and I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. I'll bring those, because I was guided to bring them. And so we, at the end of our clearing meditations, I put the cards out, and I said, we should each draw one. So everyone drew one, and read what it was as a guiding into 2024. And and then I drew mine last, and this is the card I got, and her name is Sovereign Queen Maeve. Okay, well then,
it's amazing. It's amazing how it's coming up always.
Yep, it does. It's really, when you're open, everything is a sign, and everything. It keeps pointing you, and it points it out to me all the time, because I'm open. I'm open to receive that. I want to know what is the frequency, what is the energy. So I've been playing with what it's like to be sovereign. Just totally sovereign. It's like, I told you earlier that I'm creating a new baby quilt for a very special, miraculous baby. And yesterday I was at the quilting store. It's called Quilting Mayhem, and it's huge. It's a big, huge warehouse building. So there's a lot there. And this lovely girl, her name was Sophia. I go, of course your name is Sophia. She was like, let me help you. She saw, and I told her what I was up to. And she like stayed with me the whole time running. She goes, oh, I have another idea. And she'd bring me another bolt of fabric. And, she was like, I was like going, this is what it's like to be sovereign. You just have these ideas and you put it out there, and everything organizes around you to create what it is. And it was like, she was just a part of that frequency, especially with that Sophia frequency energy too, right? So nothing was getting past me yesterday on. And the other thing is too, when I was in that energy, she was bringing forward things I would not have thought about. And that's important, because if I was in control, I'm not allowing something greater to show up. So it was giving me those kinds of lessons. So yeah, the sovereignty piece. So then this morning, our lovely Aurora, I love her name. I'm going to read this. She writes a piece about this time period. Aurora does a lot of tarot and guided and angel readings and angel healings, and she's a very gifted healer. And I feel very blessed to know this person and have worked with this person. So I'm going to read what she wrote, and here we go. We've got dragons and sovereignty all in this. So she writes, the galactics and prime source have decided that there will need to be some tower moments in 2024 in order to correct the imbalances on the planet and to catalyze the quantum leap of all the waivers. Okay, so let me just explain. The tower moments in tarot is when the tower it falls over, so it becomes destroyed, so the tower comes tumbling down. This is the year of the dragon, and the dragons will be very prevalent this year as they take the lead on overseeing the ascension events. 2012 was also a dragon year, which was a major turning point for the mass awakenings. And I shared with you that in my 2012, as my returning water dragon, that was a pivotal year for me to go to places that had high dragon energy and begin to really learn about the sovereign piece. Okay, many believe the dragons to be another mythical creature of legend, but the dragons did in fact inhabit the planet along with humanity. We do not know exactly what occurred, but we do know that the dragons were eventually eradicated from the planet due to humanity's fear of them and attempt to control them. The dragons cannot exist around the energy of fear, as they are the antidote to it. Just like all other galactic races and mythical archetypes, The dragon archetypes are a part of humanity's blueprint. The dragons represent sovereignty and power, as they cannot and will not be tamed. They are pure expressions of the God spark, and they represent freedom, sovereignty, self-empowerment, and they are also specialists at transmuting density and fear. The 13 Dragon Collectives will be overseeing this year's Ascension timeline and events, and they will be correcting the imbalance of the planet into right action, alignment with universal law, eradication of fear, ego, and also assisting us with gaining our sovereignty. The ego's biggest fear is the dragon, because it cannot withstand the fires of truth that they represent. The ego thrives off of enslavement, victim consciousness, fear, blame, projection, etc. We can anticipate 2024 being a very powerful year of truth and also surprises. So much of humanity has become attached to what they think is happening here. Everyone is looking outside of themselves for a savior of some kind. There are so many theories, so many speculations, and so many who think they know it all. Creation is wild, chaotic, and always changing and evolving. It is never stagnant, and it never follows logical or linear patterns. Whatever you think is happening is never really what is actually happening. So many have given their power away in this process and have forgotten that we are all God beings. So I shifted. So whatever you think is happening is never really what is actually happening. So many have given their power away in this process and have forgotten we are all God with God, and we are all vessels of divine will. Prime Source Creator is in charge of this ascension, and it will be made clear this year that divine will trumps all ego and all self-will and all savior programming. As more of us step into our God self, we become one with Source again. She's right on point. She's saying exactly how it is. So, and I'm loving that next Sunday we start working with the teachings about in Course in Miracles, right? Working with people, helping them identify that ego, helping them work with forgiving of self. Because once we start really being sucked in by the ego, we do things that bring shame and blame and all that lower greed, all that lower density energy when we're working with that. So here we have the opportunity to take the next 3 months of our lives and really delve into that awareness about what the ego is and how it has enslaved us. And it's time to get out of that. It's call up your inner dragon, and look at that thing. And we in that class, you went through the class last year. When you go through it again this year, it's a deepening in that awareness. It's not just like, oh, I heard this before. You go, oh, wait a minute. Oh, you can get deeper, right? Because you've already begun slashing away at the ego and identifying it and forgiving yourself for following it or whatever you need to do about ego. But this is our time to bring out that sovereign self, that mythical being that you are, as creator's creation, not the creation of man, but the creation of creator. And that's what gives us our sovereign. Not so people think sovereign is like kings, queens, royalty on this planet. That's just a shadow of trying to become sovereign. It's not real. It's not even scary if you really think about it. So I love that this energy for 2024 is really about this breaking through the slave consciousness, which we're working on that. I see humanity really beginning to step up and like identifying where they've been in slave consciousness, and make a new decision about really who are you and how do you want to be. So for me, drawing this Sovereign Queen Maeve, I kept the card out. and every day I'm looking, I go, okay, Sovereign Queen Maeve, let me be that reflection here in my world, and walk amongst. And there we go. We go back to that scripture, be in the world, but not of the world. I couldn't, if I walked in the world as a queen, I would be arrogant and dismissive, that, I'm better than you. And that's not it. It's that inner sovereignty, that spiritual sovereignty, that soul really trying to remember the truth of who it is and what it is. And we're all sovereign beings. Some of us remember, and some of us are working on it, and some of us have totally forgotten. But the energy is here, right? The energy of that is to bring it home. And it's this, like the dragon energy right now in this year is the green wood dragon. And that's like really a practical rebuilding, there's a material essence about the green wood dragon, but it also can bring fire, because wood can ignite pretty easily, right? So it can bring fire. So yeah, so that's my little thing on dragons. Not to be afraid.
Maybe we can pull out cards for all our viewers about what they need to look into next year.
Okay. Why don't we just pull one card? That seems correct to me. Just yeah. And I'll use the same deck that I used to pull the Queen Maeve card. So why don't we do this? I'll shuffle, and then we'll I'm going to say this is for the collective and for what the audience needs now. So as I do this, you hold that energy with me, and then you tell me when to stop, okay?
Stop. Wow, it's beautiful.
Isn't it beautiful? It's kind of dragon-esque, but it's a seahorse. Seahorse.
Beautiful.
So let's see what that has. I would say it has a lot of water dragon energy, but that's just me because I'm a water dragon. Shaktipat of Seahorse. That's what that's called. And okay, so this is what the universe has brought forward for us to focus on for 2024 energy. Shaktipat of Seahorse. As you embrace your inner essence, you will be at peace with who you are, including your vulnerability, and no longer see the need to conform to social ideals which have no true romance for your heart. You are encouraged to trust your intuitive recognition of which environments and relationships harmonize well with you. supporting your spiritual growth and well-being on all levels. You have the innate capacity to manifest, relax, and you shall attract all you need. Volatile or overly restless seas comprise the well-being of the seahorse. Such intensity drains their energy, forcing them to go against their naturally gentle way of being. They thrive in environments that are calm and accommodate their slow, graceful movements. Rather than aggressively hunting, seahorses patiently wait until what they need comes their way and then actively receive it. That's some really good advice right there. Seahorse has a relationship of commensalism with seagrass and coral. Commensalism is the medicine of connection, protection, and stabilization. In such a relationship, we receive what we need without being parasitic. We intelligently seek our sources that naturally support us rather than attempting to manipulate someone or something to be other than what it is. In the case of the seahorse, as it hides from predators in the seagrass and steadies itself on coral, neither seagrass nor coral are harmed. The symbiotic relationship of seahorse and its helpful friends reflects the supportive nature of their relationship between soul and spirit. Spirit will provide whatever support the soul requires to thrive. In Greek myth, the seahorse is hippocampus, which translates as horse of the sea. Known both as steeds of the gods, and as benevolent creatures who prevented sailors from drowning or becoming lost at sea, seahorses are a symbolism of protection. They are about outmaneuvering negative forces and bringing grace and peace. Seahorse is our guardian when we are going through challenging times, especially on an emotional level. Shaktipat is a transmission of grace. Ooh, I like that. A transmission of grace. Let's receive that. Woo! Woo! Okay. It is an enlightening gift of energy that enables mastery. Shaktipat of seahorse empowers us to instinctively seek environments that are conducive to our well-being rather than damaging ourselves by trying to adapt to external situations or social values. It teaches that we are enough and we have the innate spiritual magnetism to attract what we need in our lives. We gravitate away from falsehood and towards authentic being. Named for its seahorse-like shape, the hippocampus is the neural center in the human brain. It helps us navigate our way in the world and find where we can thrive and best avoid negative influences. Each seahorse has a unique coroner or crown on the top of its head. It is said that, like human fingerprints, no two are completely alike. This oracle assures that your path and what supports you will be unique. If you attempt to fit into social constructs or cliques that don't reflect your essence, you will weaken yourself and become more susceptible to negativity. You are encouraged to consider what is natural and best for you, to be honest and authentic, even in your vulnerability. It is only from that place that you can respond appropriately. When you are in your authenticity, much power and grace shall fully rally to support you. The world can seem unfriendly or unsupportive at times, but the oracle reassures you, as you honor who you are, you will naturally find friends and attract supportive assistance to obtain all you need to thrive.
Wow, that's really great. Great advice for everyone and a great explanation.
Yeah, and what beautiful energy that is, right? And it really is in alignment with what we've been talking about, right? And so when we give up the construct of man and the construct of the ego, we become authentic. And it's like, bring your authentic self out to play. We're very familiar with the ego and what we want to look like in the world and who we want to be in the world, but that's just the facade. That's just the ego playing it safe out there. Right? I stopped playing safe when I started telling people I love them. I love you. It's like it disarms people because people, there's a lot of anger and hate and divisiveness in the world, right? And I've heard people say, I hate, and you can fill in the blank of people in our world. And there's enough of that. And someone's got to stand for love. And I'm going to be that one to say, I stand for love. I stand for being authentic. I stand for truth. Even if it's not popular. So, and especially for me right now, it's especially if it's not popular, because if it's popular, then I know that something's off with that. And I go back to my authentic self. So, yeah, so this was, what a beautiful card reading of what's there for us in this new year, right? And it gives us some really good clues about how to be in that. So you may want to, listen to this over again and go back to what that seahorse energy is all about. And I would call them little dragons of the sea. They know how to be in their environment, and and I love that they don't go out seeking it. They're not like sharks that go, like devour. They wait patiently. They just know that all is coming to them. Well, that's kind of like the sovereign way of being.
That's I think, the hardest, because all your life, I know my life, I've been told that I have to do, and I have to work hard, and I have to really, really think and do and work hard to get something what I need for my life. Yeah.
Yep. That's slave mentality.
Yeah. And now when you telling me you need just relax and know that everything will be coming your way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just trust in that. I think for me it's most hardest thing I ever have to do.
Yeah, because our value has been said. Our value is in our doingness. Like if you meet someone, or you've met someone, the first thing they ask you is, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? Well, I don't know. I get up every morning and I open my eyes and I welcome in the day. What do you do? Right? But they want to know, what piece of paper have you got? What job is your, it's like they identify you by your doingness. So it equates into our worthiness is our doingness. And that's bullshit. That's just bullshit. Because that's not our worthiness, is because we exist. We draw breath. We're here to live and to love and to experience this life. But if we're caught up into that victim slavery matrix, then we don't get to experience that. We get to experience, I better work harder. I better do more. I better work smarter. It's like our worthiness is not our doingness. Our worthiness is because we are. And we are here to be on purpose and in love and experience that. So yeah, a lot of people have been trained to believe that what you do is what makes you worthy.
Yeah, and that's what you do makes you worthy, and what you do actually supports you as well at the same time. More you work, more you manage to support yourself, your family, and so on.
Yep, that isn't that think about what you're just saying. Where did you learn that from? What
I know
construct?
exactly where I learned from. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
environment I grew up with.
exactly. You know, and there's nothing wrong with hard work. There's especially towards a goal that's lovely, but that's not our identification of who we are. I was up most of the night working on, you know, quilting patterns and, you know, ideas and all of that, you know, and that energy of creation, right? For me, that's hard work because I was dedicated to it because I want to create something absolutely stunning and beautiful. But it's not like going out and having to dig a ditch so I can feed my family, right? I'm showing the universe, oh yeah, I'm moving my energy in this direction by, you know, entertaining shapes and colors and all of that. And then I get to receive that. But when we're caught up in that slave victim matrix, creation has nothing, there's no creation in that. It's hard work, it's ego driven, it's fear based. Because if what happens if you stop? Oh my God, I'm going to starve to death. You know, and that's when you really know what matrix you're caught up in. And that's not my matrix. My matrix is here to serve and love and be here for people. And I have everything I need. I have more than I need. And, you know, it's like, that's not my worry. That's not my concern because I'm provided with everything that I need.
Wonderful. Maybe we can do something what will help our viewers to actually let go this ego state, let go this matrix, and change for be like easy change for being sovereign.
Yeah, you know, we'll do that. But I've also, there is on the Seahorse page, there is a healing process. And I think that, you know, I think I'm going to move on that because we're in that thread, right? So I don't usually do this out of a book. So we'll see where spirit takes us on this, but I'm called to do it. So let's get ready for this. So are you ready? Yeah, we got time to do this. Okay, so I'm going to invite everybody to just bring your attention to your breath. Take a beautiful breath in. And, you know, just feel where that breath goes and let that breath out. You know, we think that the breath is so automatic, and it is. But when you become purposeful with your breath and you follow it, you ignite it with a whole different kind of energy. So let's take another breath in and bring that intention to the breath of recognizing the breath and the power of the breath. Okay, breath in. And hold your breath in your body and just notice where that energy of it goes. And just gently let that breath out. And of course, the breath is our life. If we stop breathing, then we stop this physical incarnation, and eventually all of us will. But in this mode, we would just become very present to our breath. It helps us to come in the present moment. And as you continue to breathe and just bring your energy to the present moment, and you follow the energy and the frequency of my voice, I'm going to read through this piece that the Seahorse offers us this day. Take a moment to place your hand on your heart and imagine, feel, intend, and desire to really connect to your true inner self. So let's take a moment to do that. Hand over your heart. Create the intention to just really connect to who you truly are. Be present to your heart. Be present to your breath. Be present to your beingness. Not your doingness, your beingness. Your breath in, your breath out, your heartbeat. And maybe even be curious about who you are. And allow your intention to just more and more align with my authentic self. And from this place, you can say aloud or to yourself these words. I trust in the uniqueness, the sacred beauty, the higher purpose, and perfect inner potential that I am. Take a breath in. And we're going to say that one more time. I trust in the uniqueness, the sacred beauty, the higher purpose, and perfect inner potential that I am. Take a breath in. Lock into that trust, that potential of who you are. Let the breath out. Relax into that. I surrender into the unconditionally loving acceptance that Spirit has for me and heed the encouragement to be my true self. Take a breath in. I surrender to the unconditionally loving acceptance that Spirit has for me and heed the encouragement to be my true self. So just sit with those words for a moment. Imagine yourself just leaning into Spirit's unconditional acceptance of who you are. All of who you are, including all the experiments and the ways of being that you've tried. Just imagine yourself that in any of these experiences that you may have had, that you might have even thought this is incorrect or this was wrong, and you might feel some shame about that. But just imagine just taking that and leaning into Source, Creator, Spirit's loving acceptance of who you are. No matter what you have done and no matter what you think about what you've done, take a breath into that. And just fully lean into the divine love, that loving acceptance. And if you're having trouble with that, imagine what it might be like to lean into our beautiful source creators, loving acceptance of who we are and all our experiences. And get a feeling what that would feel like to be just lovingly accepted for totally who you are, how you show up. And think to yourself now, I do not need to adapt, compromise, or alter myself to be like anyone else. So have that realization that you don't need to be or change or do to match anyone else's energy. You can safe to be who you are. My true nature is divinely designed, and I seek to cast off ego concepts like tattered old clothes, standing peaceful, luminous, and unshackled in my own true nature. And so, what a beautiful visualization that is, to just shed off the ego trappings, the ego experiences, and just like let them go like old tattered clothes. And so all that ego stuff is all that shame and blame and anger energy. Just let all that go. Let that fall away from you. Also, that control energy that I spoke of earlier, letting that go too, for that's the ego trying to hold on for dear life. What would it be like to just let all that go, that control, all the shame, all the blame? Imagine it. How would your body feel? How would you walk in the world if you did not carry that? Begin to imagine that. From the place of truth, I feel connected to my heart. Take a breath into that. From the place of truth, I feel connected to my heart. Take a breath into your heart. Connect to the truth of who you are. Your sovereign self, your freed self, your majestic self, your loved self, yourself at peace and in truth. I can easily attract all I desire from the place of authenticity and integrity. So come back to your heart. I can easily attract from that place of authenticity. So see your authenticity and who you are like a magnet. The true self of you that does not need to go out and scramble in the world to feed yourself or house or clothe yourself. But it comes from the authenticity of who you are as love, as goodness, as the living light that we came here to be. Find your own authenticity within your own heart. Take a breath in. Your authentic self is enough. In fact, it's more than enough. And a fabulous affirmation here is, I am more than enough. I have all that I need, and all that I want comes to me easily and effortlessly. Take a breath in. And just relax into it and imagine what that kind of life would be like as you just relax into your sovereign sacred self, being the light and the love of the world, and knowing that all that you need, all that you desire is coming toward you now. Not only are you attracting it, it is attracting you. May all beings know such peace, comfort, and love. May all beings. And so use your power of beautiful imagination and imagine if all beings were to remember this. And so let's just take a moment with our power of imagination, because it is one of our superpowers, to imagine what it would be like if all of us were connected to our authenticity, if every human sentient being was connected to the sovereign sacred self that they are. Take a breath in and anchor that in and imagine it, even just for a moment. Take a breath in. May all beings experience their sacred self. May they all release the ego drive to be who they are not, so that they can be fully and truthfully who they are. May all beings awaken and remember that their worth is not dependent on what they do, but it is dependent on their own authenticity, who they are. May all beings wake up and remember who they are and align with that truth within their own sacred heart. Take a breath in. And then come back to your heart, your energy of your own heart, the authenticity of who you are, your capacity to attract everything that you need and desire to live as a sovereign, sacred self. May all beings awaken. And so as we together amplify this truth by coming in divine unison together, we become like a very loud tuning fork in our world, tuning up the hearts and the minds of humanity to awaken and remember. And so I am in such gratitude for this day, for the words of wisdom that have come our way, for the waking up. And I'm so grateful for this time of our of where we are on this planet at this time. And I know that each of us are brought here because of our own sacred gifts of love and light, as we all together work for the transformation of awakening and remembering to who we are, what we are. And as we let go the old construct of slavery and control, we let it go. It was just a bad story, and it's not truth. And now we waken up to the truth, we wake up to our authentic self. And for that, I am truly grateful as we come into this time of the great awakening, the great remembering of who we are. And so for all the guidance that we receive as we traverse these beautiful celestial waters of love and light, I am so grateful. And I just surrender to that and invite everyone else to surrender just to that love, to that light, and to the truth of who we really are. Let it be, and so it is.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, it's difficult to speak after such meditation. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody who are watching us. Happy New Year. All the very best for you. Please remember to look back at our previous shows. We have many shows done last year and year before. So look back of this beautiful knowledge. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube video channel so I will be able to reach more and more people every day. From our hearts to yours, thank you very much for watching and God bless.
I love you.